Dragon Age Vilgard joins the rank of Concord and rate 4 in the history of commercial game failures. Why aren't AAA games listening to gamers instead of lecturing them, and why did the game industry bubble form in the first place? True, actually, why did that happen in the first place? Alright, chat's video, here we go. Game industry bubble.
Industry is struggling. Millions of dollars have been lost and thousands of layoffs have occurred. Even games with mild success will not make their money back. One would think that these failures would create a moment of crisis, a moment of self-reflection in the industry. That studios would realize that instead of lecturing gamers about what they should want,
Concord Dev writes off critics. Why would I care about a bunch of talentless freak hating on it? Did I really say that? Talentless freaks. Gamers? People that pay for your game. People, like work hard for their money to pay for your game and fund it, and you say they are like talentless freaks. Insane.
they would listen and understand their fans. You know, the people who want to be entertained, who want to pay to play their games.
Yeah.
So how did we get here? Why is it so difficult for the feedback to get through? Why aren't studios listening? Well,
is this like a thing now, like in the modern days, like shaming people? Maybe there's like a there's really a freaks that pay for the games, be like, yes, please say that I'm dumb as fuck to buy your games. Oh my god.
The problem is that over the years they've created
Oh
a
my
bubble.
god.
And unless they turn things around and step into the light, things are only going to get worse. Let's talk about how this happened. When I first started in games, you made a game, got ready to ship, and then you talked about it at E3. You let people play, and sometimes you even had gamers at E3. It felt like a fun geek fest with friends. As games became more mainstream and made more money...
Oh, it's just like cosplays, yeah. Nowadays, cosplay is very, very different, guys.
Things started to change. The press became more powerful, and reporters that wanted to increase their audience might do so by creating breaking news about your game.
Yeah.
Sometimes that was really good, and the game developer would score a magazine cover, they'd get more sales and a lot more attention. Sometimes it wasn't so good, because a lot of game developers weren't great at selling their games. They were just great at making them. They might say something wrong about the game.
Marketing is very important, yeah. Even like movies, it's the same thing. Good quality of game, but you have no marketing team. It's gotta be bad, guys. So that's why you have to hire a different team to do that job, yeah.
Or maybe a
It
reporter
is what
would
it is.
misunderstand. This could end up costing the game developer shelf space, sales, and sometimes their job.
Noise in their makeshift trailer park across the street from E3.
I think it's more honest. Like, we don't have to put on a big show. Our big show is our technology.
Naturally, what happened was the game developers and publishers started to evolve out of self-interest. They needed to protect their investment, so they would set their message and their narrative very specifically before they went to E3. The last thing they wanted was for a reporter to misunderstand and print something that would hurt the game. Now, instead of game developers...
Game journalists? Are we talking about game journalists now, guys? No. Why is that a thing? Why is game journalists a thing? Please.
working 8-hour shifts on the show floor discussing their games, companies moved to designated spokespeople and had secondary people manning the booth. Many companies staffed their floor with beautiful contractors that couldn't
Is that
answer
Halo?
any in-depth questions.
Aloha! Welcome to the Maxim Video Game Quiz.
This worked really well. Instead of having kind of a grumpy developer that had crunched in order to get their E3 demo done, you had beautiful, bubbly people, and they would set a great first impression of your game.
Oh my god, I know this one too.
The green guy.
Giovanni? No.
The turtle.
Fabio? No. Leonardo?
An added benefit was that no reporter in their right mind would quote one of these people as some kind of expert on the game, so it took away that risk. If a journalist wanted an in-depth interview or wanted specific questions about the game answered, then they were directed to a PR spokesperson, and these people were trained. They were intimately familiar with the game, and generally, they didn't say anything stupid.
And fortunately, we have a product for people who
All right,
aren't
yeah,
able
nice.
to get some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360.
Right. So stick with 360. That's your message. If you don't,
Well,
if you don't like it.
if you have zero access
Yeah.
to the internet, that is an offline device.
This also really worked to increase the star power of game creators. People like stories about another person, right? It's hard to tell a story about the 150 people working on the game. It's just too much for people to keep track of. They want to hear about the star. Who is the co-creator of Halo? Who is Jason Jones? That is what they wanted to hear.
Yeah. Neil Druckmann,
These
yes.
spokespeople became famous, and often the press became their friends. It's natural for
Yeah, game
friendships to
director,
develop
here we
over
go.
time, and it helps in interviews if people know each other.
It's great to see you again.
It's good to see you as well.
good to
People
see
have been
this
waiting
still
for us to
going.
get back together. And now is
And
the
I
appropriate venue.
He
do
was so
always enjoy
young.
it where you make up features and ask me if they're actually real.
Exactly. And then you go back and build them, right? No.
Sometimes yes. Sometimes yes. We get the pressure to do that.
Yes.
This created a star power on the interface too.
Isn't that the host in Game of the Year, guys? Yeah, right. Yeah, it's him, right? That's why I was like, oh, he's so young here.
Suddenly, you weren't just a journalist. You weren't just a buyer for GameStop. You were friends with some of the most famous and powerful people in the games industry. If you played your cards right, maybe you'd get exclusive interviews or get to break stories after drinks went
guys, hi Jen. Yeah, game journalist. Here we go.
one night. And the escalation continued. It became normal to wine and dine the press and
Gears
retail
of
buyers.
War.
Since games were on physical media, you had to have shelf space, and even better, cross-promotion with major stores. It was big business. Companies had to manage hundreds of these people at E3. So Xbox had a handler for
Is
every...
there any E3 right now? Is the event like canceled? No more E3. I have no idea.
major press person and retail buyer. The handler would make sure that the experience for these people was top notch. For press, it was a PR
E3
person.
is extended its date. What? What happened again? It was like 3 years ago. Yeah, I was like, wait a second. It's been a while since I heard about this event.
In the Xbox case, they had internal PR and an
Oh,
army-
is it because COVID? Wait, sorry. I keep pausing the video. Oh, retire. Oh, I thought it's like COVID. Big devs make their own showcase now. I see.
of contract PR people from a company
Nice.
called Edelman. They were beautiful, smart, and funny people. For the retail buyers, it was easy because
Beautiful,
Microsoft
smart, and
already had
funny,
someone
them.
internally that managed every account, and so those people would be the guides for the retail buyers.
We got 400 retail pros ready to hang out in the Xbox booth and learn why Xbox One is the best place to play games this year. Where's the best place to play games?
Hey, it's nice to see a lot of people attend the event just for just for fun. Can't wait for new games to play. All the hypes, positive energy.
If you were a
I kinda
VIP,
miss
you
going
would
to
check in for an
events,
appointment at
kinda.
the desk and have a first-class tour. Access to a VIP section where you could eat, drink, and mingle with Xbox and game royalty. On the tour, you might see a presentation by one of the creators, followed by a hands-on demo, staffed appropriately so that your experience was perfect. This sometimes meant that they would even win when they weren't very good at the game.
I like that you actually went through 3 hurdles and you still finished first. So
That's because I run so fast. No matter how many obstacles I hit, I can just make up for it. That's fun.
It's pretty phenomenal.
If the game was big enough, like Gears, there might be an exclusive party or event. It was also staffed with beautiful people, models, and sometimes even celebrities like Paris Hilton. I remember Paris
Who's
showing up
that?
at the event. She walked over to the bar and
Sorry, I
slammed a
have
few
no idea who's
shots.
that.
Next thing I knew, Cliffy's girlfriend was posing for a selfie, and there I was looking like, I don't know, where's Waldo in this picture? It was funny because when Cliffy's girlfriend posted this picture, she made sure to scrub me out of there. I wonder why. Then there were the press briefings before E3 even started. We'd spend weeks leading up to E3 figuring out which games to include and how to create blockbuster sound bites that would further drive our message.
I know you plan these things months and months in advance. For anybody that doesn't know, the planning for this starts like the beginning of the year kind of thing.
That's right.
It's crazy. So
We didn't want a random reporter setting the tone for the entire week, so we got ahead of it. We set the tone at that briefing and then gave more details later in the week. And it worked. Sometimes reporters would just report your message exactly, like this article which mirrored our internal XNA messaging. We knew that it was insanely ambitious to assume creating a game engine like XNA was going to somehow change the entire dynamics of the console business. But reporters liked it, and they ran with it. And this still happens. As you saw with Dragon Age, a return to form is exactly what the designer wanted the press to say. Managing the message was critical.
So 5 years ago, when I first rejoined the project as a narrative director after hiatus on Atom, I was asked my goals for the project, and one of the ones I put was I want to see the phrase triumph. Oh my god, I have no idea how to read that. Return to form for BioWare in at least one review. Damn. Excited to finally mark that goal done. That's the title you want. Is that it? In the review. Oh, yes, my most beloved game, my game of the year, guys.
To a studio's success and was done for survival purposes. But it sadly started to hurt gamers. You now had an industry that was in a bubble. As the friendships and relationships grew, only journalists in the bubble were given exclusives. And sometimes their review didn't match what was going on. Again, you saw this recently with Veilguard. IGN is
generally lovable? What? Sorry, what?
Back.
Favorable, sorry. What? 3.8.
And you saw this recently with Veilguard.
Damn.
IGN is walking back their review. Did IGN actually believe Veilguard was a 9 out of 10? Or did they intentionally ignore the flaws? Did they play the game?
Wait, the walk back? Dragon Age the Veilguard is awkwardly in conflict with itself, torn into pieces that reflect a sequel to decade-old RPG and fresh beginning with no ties to what came before. What? When is this? They changed the review.
Game, but then after they got into it more, they decided they didn't like it anymore. It's just confusing as to why it appears they're walking back that review.
I didn't even know that happened.
Is it because suddenly they're seeing that gamers don't like it and the sales are going to be low? I don't know the answers, but it's not a new story. Then there were the awards at the shows. For game developers, it was a way to keep score, to get more marketing and support for your game. It was a way to gain more shelf space at retail. Look, an expert loves my game. See, IGN says I'm a 9 out of 10. Please give me more shelf space.
No one cares about IGN now, guys. Don't worry about them. Yeah, no one cares. God.
Created even more power for the journalists because they had a chance.
I think nowadays I think nowadays, right? Like if IGN love your game, it's gonna be suspicious more than like favorable.
Own brand and suck up to the bigger business of Hollywood. Then YouTube took off and threatened to bring the whole thing down because suddenly you didn't have to listen to a print magazine. You could just go watch the game being played online and hear what that person had to say about it. It took a while, but the industry started to notice. I remember being at WB Games and arguing with our PR team about this. Being a Hollywood company, they loved the current setup. They had been cultivating these relationships for years. They knew and loved the model. They didn't want to embrace the new reality. On Gotham City Imposters, we wanted a presence on YouTube, so we made the videos ourselves. All of these videos were done by the actual game developers. They didn't have a budget or help, just their own creativity and time. Once the big companies caught on that YouTube and streaming was here to stay, they started the process again. The playbook was the same. Cultivate a relationship with the most popular streamers and YouTube personalities that love your game and pull them into the bubble. But then, something changed. You see, when you're in a bubble or an echo chamber where no real feedback gets through, it's easy to make bad choices. It's easy to believe the friendly journalist.
Sorry, what?
You see, when you're in a bubble or an echo chamber where no real feedback gets...
Concord 62. 1.7. That's... Oh my god, that's bad. 62 is already bad though, just saying, yeah. Yeah, critics review, huh?
It's through. It's easy to make bad choices.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare. 88, 3.7.
It's easy to believe the friendly journalists when they tell you what a genius you are and how great your game is.
On the score, yeah, we do mock reviews.
Right, for
every game that we launch, and this is like double digits lower than we thought we would be.
You stop seeing what the gamers are actually playing.
Double digits.
You stop
That's
understanding
bad.
what they want. You stop listening because all you hear is how awesome you are. Let's look at Dragon Age. It took over 6 years to make that game. And that is very expensive even before you start talking about the marketing. This means you're going to have to sell a lot of copies, and that means you're going to have to appeal to as many people as possible. Look, shipping a game is really hard, and I give these developers a lot of credit for getting it out the door. There's no question that some people like the game, and that's great. But it's looking like it won't be enough, and I have concerns this will lead to more layoffs. Also, as a gamer, I have no problem with game developers taking risks with their content. Who doesn't love innovation? But that doesn't mean I'll buy your game. There are many games I like and many that I don't. This is true of movies too. And that's
innovation. I mean, they did take risks on changing the art style. Other than that, the dialogue is very friendly. There's no consequences leading to a bad end, like big impact to the story.
the beauty and the challenge of working in the games industry. Sometimes you will make something that you think is good and people don't love it. I was proud of every single game I shipped, but
You
not
play
all.
Real Gods? No. IDM? Oh, sorry guys. Yeah, of course. This is based on a person that never plays Real Gods. Yes. I've watched video of gameplay. That's all guys. I'm not gonna pay them money. Sorry.
All of them had commercial success, and it was frustrating. But I didn't blame the gamers for that. Instead, I tried to look back. I tried
Of
to
course,
self-reflect.
yeah. Like, so my opinion may be disregard. Yeah, right? You don't have to take my comment as a credit because I never played the game. But I can comment on Dark Souls 2 now, guys, because I actually played the game.
What did we do well on this game? What could we have done better? Why didn't this work out? And as the leader of a studio or a game, I always looked at myself first.
War in the North was also a commercial failure, a fact that many critics attributed to the timing of its release, being released only 10 days before the juggernaut of fantasy gaming, Skyrim.
Gaming is entertainment. People aren't forced to buy your message or your game. Holding back user reviews for a few days...
This applies to everything, by the way. No one's gonna buy a message. As a content creator, influencer, whatever, gamers. Games, movies. It's the same thing. Consumers choose what to consume. You don't tell what the consumers to eat, bruh. Unless, people have that fetish. Like, yeah, command me. Tell me what to eat. Even if it's shit, I'm just gonna swallow it. No.
It buys you a few days. Eventually, the truth comes out. Eventually, people notice that you aren't delivering fun games, and they stop giving you money.
Everybody knows it's over! Everybody except you!
When people ask me why AAA games are in trouble, this is it. Because they're not reflecting on what they could do better. Instead, they're attacking the people that they want to sell their games to. It is not a winning strategy. It reminds me of Plato's allegory of the cave. It's where people only see what is on the wall in front of them. They don't see that there is a fire behind them and puppets that are creating the images that they see on the wall. What they're seeing isn't real. And if only they would turn around and walk into the light,
oh my
they
God,
would know
my
the
eyes.
truth. They would be able to change. It's hard, but fortunately, they made the cave. They made the fake reality. They can turn around at any time. And I, for one, hope they do, because I really want more great games.
Yeah, who wants shitty games? What is a great game again? A fun game, bro. Just a fun game. Fun, silly game.